Table tennis. A small table, a light plastic ball, two players flicking it back and forth. Looks simple, right? But within that 9 by 5 foot battlefield lies one of the fastest, smartest, and most technically advanced sports ever created. Every serve, every spin, every step is a calculation happening in milliseconds. It's not just reaction, it's prediction, deception, and precision. Or as one coach perfectly put it, table tennis is a combination of chess and boxing. Chess because every shot is a mind game. Boxing because every rally is a fight for survival. Now, let's peel back the layers of this sport that constantly outsmarts physics. To understand table tennis, you have to understand spin, the invisible force that makes the ball dance. There are three main kinds: top spin, bat spin, and side spin. Top spin makes the ball dive sharply after crossing the net. It's the heart of offense, giving players speed, safety, and control. Backspin slows the ball down and keeps it low, perfect for defense and resets. Side spin bends the ball sideways, turning every rally into geometry and guesswork. Professional players rarely use one spin alone. They blend them. Top spin and side spin for curving smashes, backspin and side spin for deceptive chops. At 100 kilometers per hour, they read all of this: paddle angle, wrist motion, and axis of rotation in less than a tenth of a second. One misread and the rally is gone. Spin is the true language of table tennis. And nowhere is that language spoken more beautifully or more dangerously than in the serve. In most racket sports, badminton or tennis, the serve just starts play. But in table tennis, it can end the point before it even begins. It became so powerful, the rules had to change. Originally, players served 5 times in a row. Servers dominated so easily that the limit was cut to 2, forcing constant switching and unpredictability. At the elite level, a serve is pure disguise. A millimeter change in contact, a half-second flick of the wrist, and the spin completely reverses. Take Ma Lin's Ghost Serve, so loaded with backspin it bounces once, then crawls back toward the net. Or Jan Ove Waldner's Kicker Serve, the opposite. Packed with topspin, it jumps forward like it's alive. Same action, opposite physics. Two masters using science as illusion. Watch Timo Boll serve. At first glance, identical motion, identical follow-through. But one ball carries heavy topspin. The next, heavy backspin. The opponent has a tenth of a second to tell which is which. That's why pros call serving the dark art of table tennis. Every serve is more than a strike. It's a chess move disguised as motion. People think table tennis is played standing still. In truth, it's an explosion of micro movements. At pro speed, the ball hits 100 kilometers per hour. Players have less than 0.1 seconds to react, faster than a blink. Their footwork looks effortless because it's perfectly timed chaos. Lunges, pivots, and micro steps to keep balance at impossible angles. Heart rates spike like marathoners. Legs, hips, and core fire in perfect rhythm to generate spin and stability. Flexibility is critical. Every shot is a full body rotation compressed into a second. That's why table tennis isn't just reflex. It's rehearsed lightning. Years of precision distilled into instinct. Because of that speed and spin, the sport breeds its own martial arts-like archetypes. Attackers rely on blazing topspin loops, overwhelming with pace. Defenders, or choppers, absorb that power with heavy backspin, turning speed into control. All-rounders shift gears mid-rally, mixing aggression with touch. And the left-handers, the sport's natural disruptors, flip spin directions, forcing right-handers to recalculate every return. Each style creates its own rhythm. Power versus patience, aggression versus control. And every match becomes a study in adaptability. Another layer of complexity in table tennis comes from the variety of rubbers used on the racket, each designed to manipulate speed, spin, and control in unique ways. Tacky rubbers, like the DHS Hurricane 3 or Friendship 729, have a sticky surface that grips the ball, allowing players to generate immense spin on serves and loops. These are popular among Chinese players who rely on heavy topspin and precise placement to dominate rallies. Attacking rubbers such as Butterfly Tenergy 05 or Donic Bluefire M1 are springier and faster, perfect for aggressive topspin heavy play close to the table. Their high-tension sponge acts like a trampoline, giving the ball explosive speed and power during counter loops or quick drives. Modern rackets often combine both worlds, a tacky rubber on the forehand for power and a bouncy or deceptive one on the backhand for control. This hybrid setup turns every rally into psychological warfare, predicting not just the ball's path, but the player's intent behind every stroke. But perhaps the most fascinating category is defensive rubbers. These are designed to disrupt rhythm, neutralize spin, or completely reverse it. Anti-spin rubbers, like Butterfly Super Anti or Yasaka Anti-Power, have an almost frictionless surface that makes the opponent's heavy spin slip off harmlessly. Then there are short whips like TSP Spectral or Butterfly Challenger Attack, faster rebound, lower spin sensitivity, ideal for surprise counters. And at the extreme end, long pips like Butterfly Feint Long 2 or Tibher Grass D-Tex create unpredictable ball trajectories. They can make a topspin ball suddenly float or a backspin ball unexpectedly rise, a nightmare for anyone trying to read the spin. And nowhere is that arms race producing more surprise than in India. For years, India's game was built on control and consistency, long rallies, defensive precision. But a new generation, especially Indian women, has flipped that narrative using technology. Players like Manika Batra, Sreeja Akula, and Ayhika Mukherjee wield long pips, anti-spin, and even gorilla rubbers, surfaces that neutralize or reverse the opponent's spin. When a Chinese attacker loops a heavy topspin, these rubbers send back a floaty, unpredictable ball that kills momentum. The result? China, the sport's superpower, now conducts special training sessions just to face Indian players. Yes, the same nation that once dictated how others played now studies India's unorthodox style. These rubbers let Indian players switch pace mid-rally, block, counter, and then suddenly attack with clean forehand drives. It's creativity meeting science, and it's redefining how the world views Indian table tennis. This isn't brute force, it's intelligence. It's proof that innovation can challenge tradition, that mastering equipment can be as important as mastering muscle. So the next time someone calls table tennis a casual game, remember this: it's a sport where physics, psychology, and physiology collide every second, where a layer of rubber and a flick of the wrist decides the outcome, where India, armed with ingenuity, is forcing even world champions to adapt. Table tennis may happen on a tiny table, but inside that space lives everything. Reflexes that defy biology, spins that rewrite geometry, and strategies that mirror war. It's chess for the brain, boxing for the body, and pure science for the soul. And whether it's Fanjandong's lightning counters or Manika Batra's anti-spin traps, every rally tells the same story. Humans pushing the limits of physics, thought, and creativity. Frankly, I don't care what anyone says. This isn't a small sport. It's one of the most fascinating, evolving, and complex games on the planet. And today, Somewhere in the world, a Chinese legend is training, not to beat the world, but to face an Indian serve. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to understand the bigger story behind sports, policy, and innovation, hit subscribe and join us here on Periscope, where we decode how small ideas ripple into global change. Because sometimes, the world's biggest revolutions begin on the smallest tables.